Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvell. Coming to you from the College Sports Today studio, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell.
Hey, we got ourselves a full house here for a Friday edition College Sports Today. To my far left, Coach Steve Spurrier, Shane Matthews here, and I'm Terry Norvell. Glad you're with us for a Friday edition. Coach will be here about half the show, and then we'll take it on home. Shane and I will. Guys, down to 4 in college baseball, Final 4. Mm-hmm. Coach Spurrier, did you see the Vanderbilt comeback? It was unbelievable a couple nights ago.
I think I might have kicked out when it was 5-4.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, Vandy came back and won it. They won the national championship last year. I sort of picked them because there's been a lot of repeat winners over the years. And although I hope Mississippi State wins it because they've never won it in school history, or NC State. If they don't, I hope NC State does. But the story on Mississippi State of 1985 was on last night, and I really enjoyed
Thunder and
watching
Lightning, the 30-30,
Yeah, the two players that went to the major leagues, Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark. Really an interesting story. And they did not win the national championship. They were favored, but some stuff happened, and they did not win it.
Yeah, that's a good 30 for 30. Our buddy Trenton Torsi, my baseball analyst, we get on a lot here on this show. He was on that team. He's in that documentary. He's interviewed 3 or 4 times, but it was interesting. Have you seen that one, the Thunder and Lightning?
I have. You know what's interesting is that was my sophomore year in high school, and I got to play in a game in Duty Noble, like an 11 o'clock high school game against Starkville High School, and then Mississippi State played that evening. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, they were good, boy.
Real good. Obviously, Will Clark, Palmeiro, great players. Brantley and Bobby Thicke, 4 big leaguers on that team, and I told Coach, most college baseball historians say that's the best college baseball team ever to not win it all. And probably they were the best team that year. They got upset. I think Miami hit a grand slam to walk them off. Really, really good team. Shane, the Vanderbilt game, though, a couple of nights ago, Stanford thoroughly outplayed them. I'm pulling for Vanderbilt the whole night, but Stanford thoroughly outplayed them. That's baseball. Got to finish it off.
They were down to their last strike.
Absolutely.
And that guy had a 1-2 count, worked a walk.
Yes.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, base hit.
Uh-huh.
So you got go first and third somehow.
Yes.
And then the next guy hits one in the 5-6 hole, backhands it.
Yeah.
Wild throw.
Yes.
And they tied up, and then a crazy wild pitch. So I picked Vanderbilt playing Mississippi State for the national title when it all started. I'm pulling for Mississippi State just because I think it's the best baseball program in America.
They're good.
I really do.
They're
the
good.
atmosphere there is nothing like it.
Yeah.
And they're the only school in the SEC of the founding members that has never won a national title in any sport.
In any sport, yeah.
Male or female, Coach?
They're the
male
only
or
one.
female.
The word right now is the highways have been full of Mississippi State fans going to Omaha. They want to get there for this one if it's if it can happen. So they're in position.
They really are.
Mississippi State is in position. I think their ace pitchers are rested and ready for the weekend. And ever how many games are left?
State had 3 days off. They had the way it played out. They won that. That second game is so important. If you can open up 2-0, you're getting at minimum 2 days off. At maximum, Mississippi State, because they played on Monday and they won Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're off. They've been off 3 days, full days, played tonight.
Well, they keep talking about rest. I don't know how much rest you need in baseball. Just
the arm, really, seriously.
You sprint 90 feet, but it's not. It doesn't take a lot out of you. Now for the pitchers, it might be a little bit.
That's what they're talking about.
You guys can play all day baseball, I would think. But still, to me, it's less games you have to win to be the national champ if you win those first 2, and obviously double elimination it is very helpful to win early.
But to get out 2-0 is huge in that tournament. I thought it was a big win by that comeback for Vanderbilt. I thought was a big win for the SEC. Think about it. That was Wednesday. Had Vandy not come back, the SEC would have only had one team make it past Wednesday. I think it was very big that Vanderbilt won. Just it looks good for the SEC because we've touted the SEC as the big bad SEC. We didn't want to have only one team still there. If we had to rank them now, okay, Final Four now. Today, 2 o'clock, Vanderbilt will battle NC State. Vanderbilt has to win. If Vandy wins, they play another game tomorrow. If NC State wins, NC State moves to the championship round. Vandy would be eliminated. Tonight, Mississippi State will take on Texas again. They've already played. Texas has to win. Same scenario. If Mississippi State wins, State moves on to Monday's championship, and they wait. How about these Leiter for Vanderbilt and Bednar, the Mississippi State pitcher? They had the same game, but one of them won and one of them lost. Leiter struck out, 16, Shane? And lost 1-0 earlier in the week for Vandy. Bednar for Mississippi State struck out 15 or 16, right?
A ton.
But they won 2-1.
Yeah.
They won. Mississippi State's the favorite right now, though, right? The way if we had to seed kind of the field right now, State with no losses, 3 full days off, I guess they would be on paper the favorite right now.
I would think so. They got the SEC Player of the Year who basically led that comeback the other day.
Yeah.
With the 3-run home run.
And they've got 1 loss wiggle room between today or tomorrow. Vanderbilt is as good probably as Mississippi State, but they don't have any wiggle room. Vanderbilt hasn't lost, Coach. They can't lose again. So right now, State, and Shane, you mentioned it. Missouri, I looked it up. Missouri has won national championships.
But they're not one of the founding teams.
And but I was saying Missouri and A&M have won national championships, the most recent SEC. Every school in the SEC has won a national title in something other than, Coach, men's or women's. Women came close at Mississippi State in basketball a couple times, 2 or 3, but not one. And I guess were you talking to Bubba? You heard that Mississippi State is really heading up to Omaha now because they want to be there.
Fans, yeah. They may have to create that left field lounge that we were talking about in the special from 1985. But I don't know if they can all get in that ballpark. But what I understand, they want to be there.
They want to be there.
They love baseball.
If they win it.
Mississippi State, that's for sure.
My knock on the college baseball playoff and the College World Series, it's too long now.
Way too long.
It's way too long, Coach. It just, to win the College World Series, you have to generally, how many levels? You've got your conference tournament, level 1. You've got a regional. You've got a super regional. You've got the College World Series, then the College World Series final series. It's 5 levels. You go through 5 levels to win a thing. I think it's too long, Coach.
I do too. I mean, basketball. What if they had double elimination? 64 teams starting out. How many start out in baseball?
Yeah.
There's a bundle of them start out, and they play double all around. To me, it ought to be single elimination until you get to maybe the World Series, and then you can have double.
And they are they're their own enemy. The College World Series, today should be like, to me, today and tomorrow should wrap it up. What's happened though? About 15 years ago, they added the best 2 out of 3. It used to be an 8-team. 8 teams met in Omaha, and one bracket. Wasn't none of those 2 brackets. It was one bracket. If you lost, you went in the losers bracket, and they played it. Well, the TV boys wanted to have a little more control over it to know, so they added the 2 out of 3. That's only been about 15 years, but that adds a day or 2 before you even start. And then it can either go 2 or 3 days, right?
Well, I'm a coach. I've never understood in baseball why you have to play series. For every other sport, it's one game and one game only.
Well, I told you on your show when you had me on a little bit, baseball can be so dominated by the pitcher. It's a unique game that one pitcher could have a special day, and it's almost like golf. Remember I told you, you don't have the Masters round to crown a champion. You have 4 days. So a guy could sink everything he looks at on Thursday. Well, he's not the Masters champion.
Right, but having that pitcher dominate one game, he ain't gonna be able to pitch the next 2 or 3 games. Yeah, he's done if he wins.
So it's a unique sport, though. I mean, your third string pitcher could have the day of his life. He could wake up and his arm feels great, and he's throwing and one and done.
Well, that's no different. That's no different than Justin Fields had his career day against Clemson.
But again,
moved on.
Let me back up. Let's play just one round of the Masters. Masters is one round. Whoever has the best day wins. Well, you want to do 4 days of the Masters.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I've never understood why baseball has to play more than.
I got you.
It'd be double elimination.
I got you. Boy, it's long though. I'll tell you another thing that's long. I looked this up, and I kid around every year. I'm not an NBA fan. They could play right here, and I probably wouldn't watch. The NBA game just bores me. Nobody has to. They have 2 months of playoffs. The NBA, they're still going on.
Yeah.
They're not even in the finals yet. Coach, they tipped off. They had that tournament this year. There's some kind of special tournament because of the season. They had a tournament. Their playoffs started May 18th, and if the NBA Finals goes 7 games, July 22nd.
Long time.
That's too damn long. A lot of things to cover here. The serious nature, though, is now you saw where University of Florida. We'll just use them as an example. Florida sent out a release yesterday. Shane, you probably got it. Coach, you may have as well. UF sent out basically their official guidelines that they have presented to help navigate the NIL. I heard you talk a little bit on your show.
It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah,
because it said if you are a booster of a university or if you're a Gator booster, you are not allowed to compensate any players. Well, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah.
So, Coach, if I own a business,
You have to go through the university. Is that what they said? Or
no, right? But I'm saying if I understood it correctly, let's use Spurrier's Restaurant. I don't believe, even if you go through the university and everything, you being a booster and you're an employee of the university, obviously, he wouldn't be able to have players be compensated to come eat dinner and sign autographs. Is that the way you understood it?
Probably would have to back off his booster. If you're officially
Right.
a booster,
But
back
point
that
is,
off.
let's
And
use-
we've got Evan will pull up the I pulled some of the, not all the guidelines. I pulled the ones I think are pertinent here, and we'll read a few of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, Evan, we'll pull that up. The UF NIL guidelines. Here we go. And Shane, we'll start with the second one. Is kind of what you're talking about. I pulled. This is not all of them, but this is the kind of main ones. Look at number 2. The University of Florida, the athletic department, staff members or boosters may not compensate or arrange compensation to a current prospective intercollegiate athlete for her or his name, image, likeness.
That's what I don't understand.
They would probably have to remove them or funnel it through their business, and they wouldn't be the point person. What this is saying, though, is also saying athletic department staff members. That is saying in the recruitment of a kid, the coaches can't go out there theoretically and say, hey, Shane, we want you to come to Florida. Hey, listen, we've got you a deal set up. That's what that's saying, that the staffs can't go out and cut deals.
Right.
They will, but they can't.
Right. But what I don't understand is, let's use the tequila.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Mark.
Good point.
Okay, Mark is a booster.
At
So,
University of Florida.
from what I understand, and I ain't that smart, he can't have Emory Jones going, hey, drink Vita de
Louis, yeah.
tequila, because he is a booster.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that correctly?
As I read it, yes, but he would just either A, remove himself from the booster if he really wanted to do that, you know?
But then he ain't gonna have his tickets.
Yeah. But he may feel like he's helping the program he loves more
Right.
by taking care of a player. Maybe he feels like that's more valuable than being a booster to help. So it's
Coach, you're glad you're not coaching right now, aren't
oh,
you?
it's a mess.
yeah, I do whatever they told me at the university.
it's a mess.
And
Yeah.
from what I understand, all the states may have different type of rules also on this.
Yeah, they're trying to do a little
I think-
blanket coverage.
I read where something like
Yeah.
8 states.
Yeah.
In Florida, we're DeSantis has said, yeah, we're on board with compensating the athletes, right?
Yeah,
So-
as of July 1.
So that's from our
Yeah.
university there.
Well, I'll tell you this, and Shane, I want your input as well. I truly think we're safe this year because the season's so close. I think this year is going to feel like college football should feel. I think this may be the last year college football and college sports in general feels the way we grew up. You know what I'm saying? I think after this season, college sports is going to feel, and I don't know if it's for the good or bad. I think we're safe this year, though. The season's only 6 weeks away, 8 weeks away, or whatever. I think we're safe this year. There's not going to be a ton of stuff happen. How do you read this year? Do you think a lot of stuff's going to happen?
I just don't think. I mean, I had Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel on my
Sure.
show today because he had a piece that he wrote. He talked to Dan Mullen. He talked to I think Zach Carter, a couple of players about this, and Coach Mullen basically said, "We're not sure of the rules. We don't really know what's going on."
Sure.
So I think this year, who knows what's going to happen. Well, my biggest concern with the whole thing is I do believe players need stuff, because when I played, there was no cost of attendance.
Sure.
Some players got Pell Grant, but I remember kids in the dorm, they got tired of eating in Yon Hall, and they couldn't afford to order a pizza.
Yeah.
So I do think they need something, but my biggest concern is when player X, whether, let's use the running back position.
Okay.
Because Mullen likes to rotate his running backs. Let's say running back A has a tremendous game, gets a bunch of touches, and then business X wants him on Monday to come sign autographs for $10,000.
Sure.
Well, the other running backs are going to kind of be ticked off because they're not getting their touches.
Absolutely.
They ain't making $10,000.
I agree.
So that's my only concern with the whole deal.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, Coach, I know, man, if you could make a living coaching somewhere else in college football right now, I mean, this is if I was late in my career, I don't know if I'd want to bite this off. This is going to be some complicated, it's already hard out there with the rule books. Yeah. I don't know. You look at, though, there's a lot of gray areas here that I think are going to cause problems. Number one, from this UF guideline, student athletes may earn compensation for their name, image, likeness. Such compensation must be within fair market value. Can that be any more vague? What's fair market value? Shane, what's the fair market value for this pen? You may say 50 cents. You may say a quarter. If somebody gives me, if I can sell this for $50, it's worth $50. I think you're going to have, go ahead, Coach.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. All this stuff in
NIL. Name, image, likeness.
Next year, Alabama's still going to be number one recruiting. Okay. Clemson and Ohio State are going to be 2 and 3, or Georgia. Those four are still going to be in the top 5. I'll bet you.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's so many ball players in America.
Yeah.
Alabama's still going to get the best.
Yeah.
I don't care how all that pans out. And Clemson. And how can we change recruiting to make it more even around the country?
Yeah.
I don't know that we can do that.
I said this on one of my shows the other day, Coach. What if with the name, image, and likeness, where kids can make money, if the Power 5 schools weren't allowed to participate in that, and the Group of 5 were, but you're still, a 5-star is still not going to go to Cincinnati over Georgia, Clemson, or one of those schools. So I agree with what Coach says, that there's about 8 schools that you can go ahead and pencil in. Year in and year out, they're going to get the best players.
Some more from this release. Compensation may not be provided in exchange for athletic performance or attendance at the University of Florida. What I'm reading in that is you can't pay for touchdowns. Is that how you read that? Remember Luther Campbell supposedly was paying Miami players for knocking quarterbacks out? I think that's what that is saying. Compensation may not be provided in exchange for athletic performance. I think that is saying you can't say, hey guys, it's understood, touchdowns $1,000. Everything, it's legal, by the way. They're trying to say no. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how that reads, Shane and Coach. Here's another one. The expectation is the NIL compensation opportunities will not conflict with academic or team-related activities. As I read that, that is saying, theoretically, Shane, if somebody says, we're sending off our CEO, he's having his big dinner Thursday night, he loves your team and he loves you, come speak, we're going to give you $5,000 Thursday night. It's saying, theoretically, don't blow off academic or a meeting.
Well,
players might say, well, Coach, I want to go to this. I need to make some money.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to police that.
It's unique. Basically, college athletics is turning into pro sports. If you break it down, and you know what's coming next, they're going to ask to unionize. When you unionize, the players are going to say the next thing coming down the pipe, and it's already been whispered about. The players are going to probably try and form a union, and then they negotiate with their school. Then they're just employees. Then they become employees, right? They're going to say, we want you to pay everybody. And the university either is going to say yes or no and get out of athletics, but they're going to say, you need to pay all of us a salary and benefits and health insurance, right? The universities at that point are going to go, okay, if we're doing all that, if you're an employee, we're paying you, we're not paying scholarship. We're not paying housing. We're not paying food. Why would we? If you're a union employee, you're a professional at your industry, right? The union plumber doesn't get his education paid for, or his rent paid for, or his food. So when you become an employee, be careful, players, if you unionize. And they're talking about unionizing. If you become an employee, you pay for your housing, your education, and your food.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I guess, Edgar said that some of those kids that he interviewed yesterday were talking about how, because kids live off campus now.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
Sure.
you're a freshman, you have to live
Sure.
in a dorm. But how some of the apartment complexes with all these kids' followers on Instagram and Twitter and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that they'll be able to live rent-free by tweeting that they live at
Yeah.
apartment complex X. Come live here. That's where our
Well, it's
football
convoluted.
players live.
It's convoluted. Here's one more, guys.
Mm-hmm.
An athlete agent representing a student athlete for purposes of securing compensation for her or his name, image, and likeness or persona must be licensed in the state of Florida. Well, that sounds good, but you can't tell me as of July 1, mom and dad and uncle aren't going, well, this is kind of legal. They're going to go out and start cutting deals, right? It's saying they want everybody to be a licensed agent. Well, good luck. If uncle works at Coca-Cola and he gets talking to Coca-Cola because his hotshot nephew.
But I think it all goes back to if I'm a player and some business and I have an agent wants to cut a deal with me, it still has to all funnel through the university, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Coach, what do you think about
Man,
all that?
I don't know, man. Have you talked to your...
I think it's all wait and see how it's
Yeah.
going to play out.
Yeah.
Wait and see how it all plays out. I got a feeling it may work out. Boosters, if they want a kid to do an appearance at, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night for an hour and give him $1,000 or two, that
Yeah.
might be part of name,
Yeah.
image, like this, and he can go do that.
Yeah.
No big deal. So, but hopefully it won't spread to a multi-billionaire guy is going to pay all the football players.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I'm afraid that
they
might
tell me
pop up.
that's not going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it is
I also...
different rules for each state. I read
Yeah.
that somewhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me throw this out
Yes,
real
sir.
quick. In the Olympic swimming trials last week, the University of Florida swimmers, Caleb Dressel won the 50 and the 100. The 200 and 400, Kieran Smith,
Yeah.
another Gator. And then in the distant swims, Bobby Finke, the 800 and 1500. We had 3 Gators win all the freestyle swims
about that?
in Olympic trials. That's unbelievable.
I think there's a total of 8 swimmers, men's and women's,
That have made the
going
team,
because
yeah.
the other ones are
Yep.
they're Gators, but they swim for other countries because
Yeah.
they're out of
Yeah.
out of country,
Yeah.
whatever, from
Yeah.
other countries.
Yes.
When does that all get started? When's the Olympics?
End of July 20th, 24th, somewhere around there, I believe.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Japan. Yeah.
Right around the corner.
I saw a little
right?
15-year-old girl made the swim the Olympic team. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Instead of DBU, we may be known as
Yeah.
freestyle U.
Yeah, there you
Swimming
go.
freestyle, the freestyle they call it.
How
Yeah.
about that?
That's something. Yeah.
Coach, I know we're going to get you out of
Yeah.
here in a few minutes. I was really excited about let's talk about the Spurrier's Gridiron and Grill here before we get you out of here, Coach. I was really excited about an article I saw yesterday. I think Freddie Weeby and a couple of people were quoted. It looks like we are literally weeks away now at the restaurant. We're coming out of the home stretch training the staff now, right? A couple, 2-3 weeks of training, and we're opening that bad boy up, right?
Yeah, we've been fortunate to hire, I think, enough people to get going, but it'll probably still be August. We're still probably a month
Okay.
away right now, getting everybody trained and hours and all that kind of stuff. But the hiring has been better,
Yes.
and so hopefully we are ready to go in August, and looking forward to it.
Is that, do you think the hiring has picked up?
Yes.
More students are coming in for summer classes and
Well,
stuff
people
like
that
that?
need jobs.
And looking for work, yeah. And some of the
People are starting to need jobs, and so we've trained several people also, a lot of people. So hopefully,
I mean, we're literally weeks away now because what I read yesterday, Shane, was so exciting. It said that, and Coach, I think it said that there have been about 100 private events at the restaurant, private events, and they're going to go ahead and put a moratorium on them right now. Not that you can't call and go ahead and schedule for the future. Go ahead and do that if you want to schedule an event at Spurrier's Gridiron and Grill. But Shane, they're stopping private events for the next 3 or 4 weeks because they're training the staff now. So, I mean, we're right around the corner. We are right around the corner. And man, there's so many neat things about that restaurant, Coach. You got to be real proud of that thing.
yeah,
You
it
gotta be
is.
real
It
proud
is
of that.
first class, and looks like a really good, fun place. Shane's got some of his trophies down there. Danny Warfel,
Yeah.
Chris Doring, Judd Davis got his Lou Groza Kicker of the Year trophy and so forth. Even James Bates had a trophy he brought down.
What kind of trophy did Bates get?
I don't
He
know.
gave us-
Was it a
he gave himself
participation trophy.
No,
He
no,
gave himself a trophy?
He's in the Florida Georgia Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He made that interception. Remember that night game here in the swamp?
Okay.
And,
That got him in, you think?
That got him in. That interception for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, Batesy's in that Hall of Fame also. In fact, I'm going over there right now in a few minutes.
Okay.
We have a luncheon for the Dean of Students back in the early 90s. Dean Lancelotti.
Oh, yeah.
He turns 100 years old
Wow,
this week.
congratulations.
We're having a luncheon over at the restaurant, so I'm going to go over there and see Dean Lancelotti. 100 years old.
100 years old. I said congratulations. I think I'm not. I want to live to 100. I don't know if I want to live to 100.
He's still mentally sharp, moves around and so forth. So
How about that?
Yeah, I'd hate to be laid up.
Yeah, sure.
But he still gets around.
Sure. Well,
Right,
good. That
so-
sounds like a good thing. But we are real close now. I mean, literally hiring the staff now, training up the staff. We're training up the staff now,
That's right.
and still probably positions. Go to it's right on the website, SpurriersGridironGrill.com. If you're looking for to apply, it's right there. You can do it. Coach, thank you so much for your
Okay.
time. Have a great weekend and be safe.
All right, we'll do it.
That is Coach Steve Spurrier. When we come back, Shane, we're going to stay into this NIL. I've got a lot of different angles I want to talk about. I know you had a guest on your show. It's convoluted. It's scary, I think. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on the second half of College Sports Today.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Let me take a moment to thank some of the wonderful sponsors that make College Sports Today with the head ball coach Steve Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and Terry Norvell possible. The official seafood restaurants of the show are Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach and their sister restaurants, Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant of Mayport and the new Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant location in Crescent Beach. The next time you crave the best seafood, the freshest seafood on the Northeast Florida coast, make sure you visit Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant in Mayport, Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, and Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant in Crescent Beach, the official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today. All-American Roll-Off and Recycling, serving your construction job and demolition project needs among their many other services. All-American Roll-Off and Recycling is ready to work with you on your next project anywhere throughout the Northeast Florida and surrounding areas. Visit their website, all-americanrolloff.com, or call them at 904-503-1410. Campus USA Credit Union. Find out what over 100,000 members already know. Visit a Campus USA Credit Union today and find out how they can work for you financially. If you would like to advertise your business right here on College Sports Today with Coach Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and me, Terry Norvell, then simply drop me an email at tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com and I'll be sure to make that happen. Thanks again to our great show sponsors. Now let's get back to more College Sports Today. Tell you one thing, it's Friday, and I just saw our Vida de Luis commercial. Man, I could, not that I ever would be on air, but boy, I could use a little margarita right now.
Yeah.
Thanks to our buddies at Vida de Luis all over the state of Florida, the official tequila of College Sports Today. And yes, you can order it in Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Make sure you call it by name. Vida de Luis Tequila, the best going all over the state of Florida. You see our other sponsors. Thank everybody that makes the show happen. If you're looking to become a sponsor, we'd love to talk to you about coming on to the show and associating your business, product, or service with College Sports Today, along along with Coach Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and myself, Terry Norvell. You see them all right there. My hangout Sliders down in Neptune Beach, the best in the business. Great oyster bar, great outdoor patio. Fun time of year. Something always going on fun at Sliders in Neptune Beach. The 2 Safe Harbor seafood locations, the original in Mayport, you know that one, and of course the new one in Crescent Beach. They've got the market as well, so you can go sit down and have great meals and shop. Take all your seafood home with you. They've got the great fresh seafood right from Mayport, right there in both Safe Harbors, Campus USA, and All American Roll-Off and Recycling, the best in the business when it comes to construction cleanup and waste hauling. Nobody does it better in the North Florida area. Know the name, All American Roll-Off and Recycling. So there we have it. We are back here. Let Coach Spurrier take off. He's got some stuff going on, as you heard, a little bit of a dinner or lunch over at Spurrier's. Shane Matthews hanging around. Shane, I want to stay with it. We'll get back in a moment, but let me tell you, I was mentioning if you want to become a sponsor, reach out to me. Easiest way, right there at the email. Send one to me, Terry Norvell, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. I'll get back in touch with you, and we'll get your business right here on College Sports Today. The fans, Shane, I don't think anybody has considered what the name, image, likeness, what basically turning college athletes into pro paid athletes. I don't think anybody's considered the fans, but before that, you were asking me during the break, and I want your opinion. Terry, how many people on how many players do you think will be compensated? I've thought this through, and I'm talking Power 5, okay? Power 5. I think each team, I'm not saying all of these guys are going to be billionaires, but I think each team, Power 5, will have 15-ish get deals. And here's my reasoning. You got 3 or 4 areas that they could be approached. If you're a decent player with some name recognition at a Power 5, you could get a national/regional type company that wants to align with you. You could get a company in your particular hometown. Shane Matthews, you came here. After 3 or 4 games at Florida in '90, Pascagoula Ford might have called you. So you've got your hometown, but seriously, your hometown businesses, if you're a semi-name player in a Power 5, your university's town businesses, and then if you're a big wheel, a national regional. I think 15-ish will get deals. Now, I'm not saying mega deals. I think 15. What are your thoughts? Much lower?
I think it's much lower. I mean, the more I've thought about this, I'm not sure how many are going to get. Now, I'm not talking about, Terry Norvell
Sure.
With his, million followers on Twitter not getting free subs at Joe's Deli.
Gotcha. You're talking about
I think,
a real deal.
I think a lot of that will happen.
Yeah, but a real deal.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I I don't really know what the consumer, the business is going to get out of it.
Yeah. They hope some advertising. They hope some name recognition. Some of them
Right,
might want.
but-
Some of them might. You know what they might get out of it? They've got the money. Puff their chest out.
Maybe so, but
Puffing their chest out.
But I don't think
Showing off.
I don't think if you have Emory Jones doing a car commercial for Davis Chevrolet that more people are going to go buy cars at Davis Chevrolet.
I don't know. Well, like Coach said, it'll work its way out. Now, do you think there'll be 3 or 4 on the Power 5 marquee teams that get big deals? I think there'll be some big
When
deals.
you say a big deal, what dollar amount are we talking?
$10,000 a month for football season.
So you're
Big
looking
deal.
at 30 grand?
40, 50 grand.
I don't know. We'll see. Initially I thought that's what we were looking at because, there's all these people out there that think certain schools pay their players anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still have a hard time figuring out if that's going to happen.
I just worry about a lot of things. I also worry about the fan getting turned off. If a lot of players are making money, they're pro athletes then.
Yeah.
I think the fan would get turned off. Now, here's another thing. If you're a high pro, this is going to happen when these players get paid, and that's the University of Florida's guidelines. You're going to have players somewhere, sometime, fighting their own athletic department. They're going to have different. Wait a minute. What do you mean fair market value? I got a guy ready to give me this. What do you mean we're a Pepsi school? My uncle works for Coke, and he was talking to the HR. They're ready to give me a deal. Well, you can't. We're a Pepsi school. Okay, well, wait a minute. I've got a deal. Are you gonna make this deal good?
What if Emory Jones?
You're gonna have holdouts, by the way.
Let's use Emory Jones for example. We keep throwing him because he's the quarterback in
sure.
Florida. What if his uncle is the number 2 man in charge at Under Armour?
Yeah, and Florida's Nike. Absolutely. So he could come and say, I've got a deal. They want me to do this, that, and the other thing here's my compensation.
And that's what you're saying is, and if Florida says you can't do that,
absolutely,
that's going to rub them the wrong way.
Absolutely. Hold out. How about this, okay? I mean, you got to understand.
Hold out.
No, seriously. Seriously, I'm being dead serious. Da, 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 da. Hey, everybody, welcome to the kickoff season home opener here. Florida taking on Alabama. Word is, breaking news here, Gary Danielson. Tua did not get on the bus. Bryce Young didn't get on the bus. He's not in Gainesville. He's still having an ugly, ugly situation with the University of Alabama. They're going back. People hold out. Money makes people do things. I'm telling you. Stuff like that will piss fans off. And they'll go, this is no more that they're just professional athletes now.
Yeah, I mean,
be careful.
From a fan standpoint, I see where you're going, but I still think it's different than an NFL deal, even if the kid's making money, because that's where you went to school. That's the team you've always rooted for.
Well, see, you make a great point. Is the logo bigger than this? Now, let's take the G League, the basketball G League. Minor league, they get paid minor league. If those guys were wearing Gator jerseys and Seminole jerseys and playing each other, is that going to stir your juices? Those are just minor league professional athletes. I'll tell you another thing to correlate this with. Be careful. Money can screw things up. And I'm for the players. I'm for this. I just don't know if we can implement it right without killing college sports. That's my issue. Can we implement this without killing it? Look no further than the Olympics. Money killed the Olympics. The Olympics are a shell of what they were. The Olympics are no more than the World Sports Games because money got involved. Money has killed the essence of the Olympics. Do you really sit down and you can't wait the last 30 years? Do you care about the Olympics? It's a shell of what it is.
No, never.
Now, did you used to care about the Olympics?
Maybe a little, but not really.
But you cared about it probably because it felt like it was special. It was amateurs. And it was theoretically...
Well, it was amateurs for us, but not for the other countries, right?
Well, for the longest time, yes.
Oh, I thought that was the big thing. All these other countries had their professionals playing.
Or they probably cheated a little more, maybe. But, the Olympics, why was it created 8 billion years ago? Well, this area, country, part of the world said... Let's put our athletes up against yours. It was amateur. The minute it went money, the Olympics have no ass behind it anymore. It's terrible. I correlate that a lot. How about, I'm telling you, if the money gets big enough, you're going to have internal strife. You're going to have players pissed off.
I agree 100% with that.
In the locker room, but in the athletic department too. What do you mean this deal? I want this deal. Well, we don't... You brought up Vida de Louis. Okay, you're a hotshot player. Vida de Louis, our tequila sponsor on the show, says we want to compensate you, XYZ player.
Are they allowed to give them like 5 cases of tequila?
Well, you're 21.
Okay.
You're legal to drink. We want to sponsor you. Okay. The player, his mom, his dad, whoever, the agent, they get together. They work a deal. Okay. Now the university goes, well, one of our guidelines, and it does say this. We won't go back to it. One of our guidelines says, we don't want to accept alcohol, alcohol sponsorship. I'm going to go, wait a minute. I've got a deal. You are saying you don't want to, but they're drinking up there, and they're drinking up there, and they're drinking up there on your dime, making you money. You're keeping they're serving alcohol. Mm-hmm. And they want to give me, here's my deal from Vida de Louis. If you're telling me I can't do this, are you going to stroke me a check, school? You're making your alcohol.
Then what happens when you strike that deal and the player gets hurt and doesn't play?
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm for the players getting compensation. Here's what this can sum up how I feel about this and why I'm worried. Title IX. I'll use Title IX. I always go to this. Title IX, allowing females, making sure females have the same athletic scholarship opportunities as male. Title IX, assisting women and females. Everybody in the world agrees with the premise of Title IX, right? Nobody disagrees with the premise of Title IX. Title IX is a great idea. The implementation has been a nightmare, Shane. It has been a financial nightmare. It has cost, it's terrible. You can't do it. You know why? To make it even, yes, for the last 40 years that we've had Title IX, yes, thousands upon thousands of females have gotten scholarship opportunities that weren't going to until you balanced it. But to get that done, thousands upon thousands of male student athletes got wiped out. So you got nowhere. Title IX is a great idea, but you can't implement it. It's been a nightmare. This is a great idea, but are you killing the goose to get the golden egg? I worry.
Yeah, I'm worried about it as well.
Talk about the locker room, though. You've talked about the locker room a lot, and it's totally different than the NFL. Everybody's getting paid in the NFL.
Yeah. And
so
you already know in the NFL what you're slotted to make for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, because you're a rookie, you sign, like Kyle Trask. When you get drafted where he got last pick of the second round, there's no negotiating. You know exactly what you're making. Now, if you play and you're in year 2 or year 3 of that rookie contract, then you can start renegotiating. But that's the biggest thing for me, is because, as you mentioned, money makes people do crazy things.
Yes.
And so
yes.
And it could fluctuate from week to week depending on how you performed. And this guy has 10 catches for 2 touchdowns against Alabama, and 5 people have called and want him to do speaking engagements or signing autographs or whatever. And here's another guy who may be your so-called star receiver that's getting left out and not making that money. It's going to cause friction. I'm telling you.
I agree. I totally agree. You bring up Kyle Trask. I'll only throw this out and use him as an example because I've seen him obviously on TV the last few years, and I know he was dating or is dating a former softball player.
Yeah, she didn't play her final year.
She played softball. Using that example, Kyle Trask, hey, talking to somebody, and this is fine, I guess, but hey, can you throw something in for my girlfriend as well?
Yeah.
Right? Can you throw something in for my girlfriend as well?
Yeah.
I tell you, man, it's going to be, but there's already been a lot of talk, and 2 or 3 times they've tried it and it's got shot down, but obviously everything's going to get passed now. The Supreme Court going 9-0 tells you that anything compensation for the student athlete is going to get passed. It was 9-0 at the Supreme Court. They're going to talk about, if they unionize, I don't know if people understand what that means. They're going to unionize. A lot of the athletes might unionize. You form a union because you say, university, you treat us like employees now. That changes everything. Why do you don't house, feed, and educate professional union employees? You do that on your own, right? And what about the name, image, likeness? The cost of attendance, is that wiped out?
No, they still get that, I believe.
They still get that.
Which is pretty good.
They still get that. I think the fan hasn't been considered either. I think the fan, you have a couple guys will hold out. I'm telling you, at some point, guys will hold out.
I think people are going to be transferring left and right where they can get more money.
Yeah.
Again, I can't wait to see who has the first mega deal or whatever.
Big. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know how, because anyone pretty much that's going to be paying these athletes is some type of booster. Now, is that a University of Florida rule, or is that part of the NIL?
That's Florida's guidelines, and I think they're going to kind of leave it up to each school to kind of. But I don't even think. I just don't know how enforceable. To me, again, fair market value. That's so vague. That's going to cause problems.
But here's the other thing I think about, Terry. Let's go back to last year. Trask had a phenomenal year. Let's say this was in place then. Here in a small little college town of Gainesville, Restaurant X wants to, promote Kyle Trask night or whatever it is. Kyle Trask eats here once a week. I mean, do you think a lot of restaurants are going to be able to afford to pay them anything?
Define anything.
I mean, they may say, "Hey, you get free meals."
$500.
Yeah. I can see $500.
How about the amount of money that they spend on a show like this or your show? Would they be better off feeding $500 a month to a player in cash and saying, "Cut my spot," or I get to take a picture of you?
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why. I mean, if it's a couple $100s or $1,000, I could see it happen. I don't see people making $20,000 and $30,000. I just don't. The more I think about it,
even the tip top people.
I mean, Maybe, but let's say the only person you had Kyle Pitts and Trask and Tony that would make that kind of money, you would think.
Yeah.
But I'm using Gainesville for example.
Gotcha.
What businesses would pay that whatever it is to have them?
But
come
why
wherever?
are you limiting to Gainesville?
Between
year 1 and year 2, Tua became such a blown up star.
Okay, but let me ask you this: what
Powerade would go to Tua?
See, I don't know if they would or not.
He's so big.
I don't know, but what is Powerade going to get out of? They're already Powerade and Gatorade, same thing.
Well, why are they signing him when he becomes a professional?
They did.
No, I'm saying professional athletes sign mega.
They
want to
go
go ahead and lock him up too. It says
it's shoe contracts you're thinking about.
No, I'm saying you see Mahomes pitching products.
Yeah, but not many. But you're talking about the best players in the world. I just don't see a college athlete having a company out of San Francisco.
But keep in mind too, if you're Nike, okay, just use a big company. If you're Nike, why wouldn't you take flyers on every single year? Have your meeting right now, this time of year, late June. Get a staff together. Say, all you guys know college football. Who are the 10 big name guys going into this season? Well, there's a guy named Tua at Alabama. There's a hot shot at Texas. There's LSU's got a great cornerback. Okay, the 10 hot shot guys. If you're Nike, why wouldn't you go cut a deal with all of them almost as futures? We're going to pay you right now.
Because they already have to wear those shoes at that university.
Well, okay, then Nike's a bad example.
Okay, but
Ford. And then we say, hey, man, if this works out and you have the career, I've already got a deal with you. You're going to be a Ford guy when you go to the NFL, right?
Yeah, but think about how many Ford guys are there, or how many NFL superstars are actually doing those type of commercials.
I must be missing something. Don't all the sports have guys making a lot of money?
I don't see them.
No.
I mean, I all the years that I played, you have car deals. I even as a backup, I had a car deal. All I did was you give them 2 tickets and you get to drive a free car.
Gotcha.
Now, you got Howie Long who does like Ram trucks or whatever. But I mean, I just
Peyton Manning didn't pitch products.
Peyton does nationwide.
No, I'm saying when he played and all these guys.
Maybe a few he did direct TV and stuff, but you're talking about Hall of Famers. I just don't see, because nobody knows who's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
No.
Now,
but that's why you're Nike, you take flyers on. 10 guys a year, I'd take a flyer on. The 10 guys going in, I think, are the hottest basketball, football, baseball guys in college. I'd go ahead and cut them some deals and say, hey, man, by the way, if you hit it, you and your agent, if you hit it, we want to continue this in your pro career. We've got you.
But then they're not going to do that because then they can't negotiate. If they do hit it big, then they can negotiate with everybody. I don't see it happening.
I don't know. Level of worriedness. 10, you're really worried it may screw up college sports.
I'm more
1,
worried.
you're not worried.
The only thing I'm worried about is locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with players getting paid and making money off signing autographs. It's how it's. I just wish they could say, okay, we're going to pay every player. All 85 scholarship players are getting $20,000. Boom, we're done.
Well, you walked into it, Shane. That's what's the next step.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But hold on. To do that, for the university to pay, the players will have to unionize. Each player's not going to go in 85 talking to the AD. They're going to say, we are now, our union reps coming in, we say, school, we want you to pay, your theory, all 85 guys $1,000 a week during football season.
Right. The only reason I say that, I don't want them to pay them anything.
When they become unionized, okay, they are then employees.
I get that.
So if you're on my payroll and I'm the university, I'm paying you for your performance. I'm damn sure now not paying you to go to school. No scholarship.
Which is fine.
Housing or food.
Okay.
You're paying all that. We're just sponsoring sports teams.
I get all that. I'm saying if they are going to be allowed to be paid and have scholarships, why not go ahead and do that, give them their scholarship, and pay everybody the same amount? My only concern about this entire thing is this guy's going to get pissed at that guy because he's making this, and I'm telling you, and people can't compare it. I've had people call my show going, well, the NFL does it. No, the NFL, you know what you're getting paid.
Yep. And even the lowest salary in that locker room is making a nice living.
And he's making that because of where he is slotted for his years in the league.
I agree. Boy, this thing gets unionized. By the way, if you think you have trouble with a chunk of players going to class now, hey, you got 15, 20, 30 guys making a couple thousand a week.
Yeah, somebody called my show the other day.
Who's going to class?
Because something came out. I don't know if it's the state of Florida or whatever, or they were talking about how they would add all this, overseas studying and computers. I was like, that's why the University of Florida is a tremendous school. What are we always in the top 5 every year?
Always, yeah.
And people think that matters in recruiting. It does not. Because any kid that comes, especially for football, he is picking a school where he can play, win, and get to the league in 3 years. That's it. He is not worried about studying abroad. He's not worried about going to class. I don't care what anybody thinks. The athlete being recruited is thinking about how fast can I get out of here in 3 years to go to the league.
Yep, no doubt. A little bit of a funny thought. The huge FBI probe that is and has and was going on, and some guys are already in prison and all for if I'm reading this right, if this NIL and all this stuff was enacted 5 years ago, none of those guys would be in trouble.
Right.
How about that? You're sitting in a jail cell going, holy shnikes, right? That would have all pretty much been, you could have done that on the up and up.
Yeah. When you talk about, you brought up Nike, I think that's going to be interesting from a collegiate standpoint, because that's the one thing that no matter who you are in the NFL, whether you're the 53-man or the superstar, you're always cutting shoe deals.
Gotcha.
Because you have to wear a cleat.
Sure.
And so they give you different, whether it's cash, product, or whatever. I'm curious to see if that goes to the collegiate level, because as you said, Florida is a Nike school. Absolutely. Can you see anybody out there wearing Under Armour or Adidas?
Yep.
Or any other
But
brand?
that player, man, if Under Armour knows that and they go, hey, we're going to make an offer to this player, and this player goes, hey, I've got an offer. It's we're Nike. Well, that's great. You're making gazillions from Nike. I want to make. They're offering me $40,000 to wear this shoe all year. If you're saying I can't do this, you got to give me that $40,000.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Right?
It's going to be a mess.
You got to give me that $40,000, right? And they say no, and mom and dad and that player may go, I'm a hot shot player. I wouldn't be getting $40,000 offered if I'm not a hot shot player. I'm not going to spring practice.
Yeah.
How's the fan going to feel about that? Shane Matthews has announced earlier today that he will not be at Florida practice in the spring until this deal is worked out. They've been going at this back and forth. He and his agent, legal agent, by the way, and mom and dad and agent, they've been negotiating with Florida, and they're at an impasse. Shane's not going to spring practice.
I'm not going out to spring practice until Callaway Golf gives me that set of irons.
But seriously, that happens. The fan's going to get pissed off and go, this is nothing. By the way, wait a minute. Shane's already got a big deal. He wants more. The fan's going to get pissed off, I think. Also, tongue-in-cheek, maybe LSU knew this all the time, that this was coming down the pipe. That's why they said Will Wade was just ahead of the curve. Right? All that stuff, putting a deal together and all, right? That wouldn't be that much of a stretch. It does say, though, that the staffs can't go out and cut the deals. Dude, that'll be as blurred as...
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
That'll be the most blurred.
Because all you got to... Hey,
absolutely.
Tampa Ford. Let me
Absolutely.
talk to Jimmy in the service department. Hey, we need
that guy.
We need that quarterback over at Tampa Jesuit. Get it done.
Can I tell him we've got a deal?
Yeah.
If he signs with us. Now, again, that guideline, that'll be laughed at. And by the way, nobody gives a rat's you know what about the NCAA. All that stuff I put on the screen, just layer upon layer upon layer of more potential cheating. Right? Just more potential cheating. What I hate about it is I don't want college sports, and you may say, Terry, this is a cute little Pollyanna idea you have. It's been going on. I don't want college sports / college football to turn into, the recruiting game to turn into who has the biggest deals.
Well, it's going to.
I know.
Because like Coach said,
pro
there's 8 schools I can name right now that's going to have they're going to be the top 8 recruiting classes every year.
Provided they've got the best deals, right? If 8 top them, I don't want, Tim Brewster is not a big deal now. He was a great people recruiter. Now it's, you better be a good X's and O's contract guy on a napkin with the, I don't know. I don't know. I just worry we've already got pro sports. There's got to be a line of demarcation, I think, or the fan is going to get pissed off. And if the fan gets pissed off and they turn away, that's the money. That's the money. I think we're okay this year. I think we're too close to the season, right? I don't think there's going to be a ton. Next year will be interesting. Next year, we may be looking back. You know how they say, okay, well, modern NFL versus pre-modern, the line was 1970 or something. We may look back years from now and go, well, that was college football 2021 and before, 22 and in the future. Whew. I don't know. It's a mess. Before you bang the NCAA too bad, don't ever forget this. Again, the NCAA, over a 100-year organization, was formed and is formed and has been formed to govern amateur athletics, not professional athletics. That's like saying, Shane Matthews, roofing. You've done nothing but roofing. You've owned a roofing company. Your business is roofing. Roofing. Monday, you got to get in the plumbing business. That's what they're asking right now. I feel for them a little bit. Did Edgar have any other insight when you talked to him?
No, I mean, he's like Dan, doesn't know a whole lot either. I mean,
what did Edgar, where was his level of worry, or did y'all get into something like that? Did he think it's going to change the game of college athletics?
We didn't really talk about that. He just talked to a couple of players. You know, some of these players have their own clothing lines coming out, which I don't know who's going to buy that stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's get out of here. A good discussion. It will, July 1st, it kicks in for a lot of these places. Just be ready. Just be ready, guys. When Shane Matthews is coming off the field after having a 300-yard passing game and he's talking to Holly Rowe or somebody, Beth Mowens maybe, and Shane takes his Gator helmet off and puts a NASCAR helmet on and a special shirt, right? Because you're right.
Could happen.
You've agreed to put a shirt on every time you get interviewed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you go to SEC Media Days when you were at Florida? You went over there? Mm-hmm. My God, these guys will now be fighting. Coach, I want to go. I've told a guy, if I go, I'm going to wear a hat in front of 1,000 cameras.
Yeah, possibly.
You know? How valuable is that?
Mm-hmm.
How about, were you any good? I don't remember you there. Were you any good? Or were you boring? Say anything?
I don't know. That was 30-something years ago.
You say anything good?
Probably not.
Were you coached up? Did they say, hey, don't say anything stupid?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't remember that far back.
Was it at the that Winfrey Hotel and full of Bama people in the lobby? It's a mess. Let's get out of here. Thanks to a lot of people. Of course, Coach Spurrier, he was here half the show. Thank you so much, Coach. He's back over at the restaurant. That thing will be open soon. And, of course, Evan Miller, our producer, who does a great job every day. For Shane, I'm Terry Norvell. We'll get back together Monday, the next edition of College Sports Today.